welcome to my channel. My name is Tiz, and in today's video I will be answering all of your questions about the USA. So if you don't know, I have been living in the USA for almost 4 months now, and let me tell you, it has been an experience. So I asked on my Instagram a few days ago for you guys to send through any questions that you might have about my experience here, what I'm doing, anything like that, and I will be answering them for you today. So I wrote all my questions on my phone here, so if you see me looking down, that's why. But let's just get into it. Before we get started, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Okay, so the first question is, what are you doing in the USA? So I'm on a cultural exchange program here known as au pairing. You can do this program in a lot of different countries, but I chose to do it in the USA in particular, and I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. But yeah, with au pairing, it's a childcare program essentially. So you will live with your host family in whichever country you decide to do it in, and in exchange for getting to live here and experience the culture, you will provide childcare for their children. The next question is, what is the strangest thing you've seen there? And I laughed because literally the first thing that I noticed was as soon as I got off that plane and I was walking through the airport. So I had a direct flight from Joburg to Newark in New Jersey, which is really close to New York. It was a very long flight, so let's not even talk about that. But the very first thing that I noticed as I was walking through the airport at all of the shops and restaurants and little cafes and whatever, they have self-checkout for everything. And obviously in South Africa, we don't really do that, you know? So it was like, wow, you know, it makes you feel like you're in a different world almost. But yeah, and then also at all of these restaurants, they had these iPads that you just place your order, and that's that. No waiters, no nothing. So I'm just like, wow. I really thought that the whole country was like that, but no, I think it was just that airport in particular, because obviously I've been to restaurants around here and they're not like that. So okay, first impression of the place. So when I first came here, I lived in East Greenwich in Rhode Island for the first 2 months, and then I moved to Washington DC. So my first impression of Rhode Island was that it was really beautiful because there's a lot of trees, beaches, nature. It's amazing in that aspect, but there's not much to do there, and I could already tell upon arrival. But yeah, it was really pretty. I really was like, wow, you know. At first it was a bit of a shock because I was still processing the fact that I was in the USA. You know what I mean? I had not even registered that I was like here. You know what I mean? Even when I was leaving South Africa, it did not feel like I was actually leaving. It didn't feel real until I actually got here. So yeah, and then my first impression of DC was that it's amazing. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I really love DC a lot. There's a lot to do here, a lot to see, a lot of people. It's great. Trust South Africans to ask about the food. Tell me why so many of you guys were asking about how the food is and all of that. God, the food. So it was definitely a big adjustment, I think, especially being from South Africa. It's a big adjustment, the food. Getting used to the food here, it takes a lot of time. Even when I ask the other South African au pairs, they say this exact same thing. The food here just tastes different compared to what we're used to in South Africa. It doesn't taste bad, but it doesn't taste amazing either. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's not that much flavor in the food, and that's also something that I noticed. Like, even when you eat fruit and vegetables, it does not taste the same. So yeah, I don't know, the fruit and vegetables in South Africa have a lot more like flavor to them. You get what I mean? I remember the first time I ate strawberries here. guys, I was like, what is this? It does not, anyways, whatever. The food here, it's okay. what are the perks of being in the USA? So the USA is a huge country, and there's so much to see here, so much to do, because every single state, they have like 52 states here, which is the equivalent of provinces in South Africa. Each state has its own thing about it. Do you know what I mean? So there's so much to see, so many places to go. So I definitely think the number one perk is the different travel options that you have. It's amazing. Then also, I think other perks would just be simply experiencing the culture. You know, it's one thing to see how Americans are in the movies. It's a completely different thing to actually live with Americans and experience the culture. Will you be studying there? So, as part of the au pair program, you have to do like short courses just to meet the requirements of the program. That is part of our visa regulations and stuff like that. So we have to do 6 credits, which is equivalent to like 72 hours of work. So there's a lot of options for au pairs. You can either go to a local community college to do your classes in a subject that you're interested in. A lot of the au pairs do English classes, but you can also do like travel classes where you can go explore somewhere in the USA and learn about photography or learn about that particular area that you're traveling to. The next question is, how has your life changed since you left South Africa? My life has changed a lot. I feel like I'm a different person now that I'm here. You know, when you leave your comfort zone, when you leave everything that you've ever known your whole entire life, and you move abroad, you move somewhere where you know absolutely no one, you don't know anything, new country, new people, new everything, new food, new culture, everything is new, right? It really allows you to take a step back and just to rediscover yourself and just to figure out who you really are, you know. And I've only been here for 4 months, and I know that it's still going to be a long journey ahead of me in terms of discovering myself, in terms of figuring out who Tiz really is, you know. But I can already tell in the short time that I've been here, this experience has definitely taught me a lot about myself, and has definitely, it's done exactly what I've needed it to do. Do you know what I'm saying? With that being said, there are a lot of things that I was doing in South Africa that I made sure to keep consistent coming here to the USA. For example, going to the gym, going to church, YouTube. You know, those things I was doing in South Africa, and now we're doing it even better here in the US. Okay? But yeah, you know, I think you become a lot more independent when you leave everything you've ever known. Because for me in my life, I was living in the same house, living in the same area, going to the same school, the same church, the same gym. Everything was the same, right? For my whole life. Until I came here, things changed. Things really changed, you know. You learn to become okay with just being alone, right? Which is so beautiful. So beautiful. I am so grateful for that. Yeah, my relationship with God has improved. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. What's your favorite part of living in the USA? Meeting people from all over the world. For sure. You know, there's a lot of au pairs. There's a lot. And they come from all over the world. And you know, when you create friendships with people, when you network with people from different countries, you can learn about their culture, not just about American culture. You learn about different cultures as well, and you make these friends for life. You know what I mean? You make these friends for life. So yeah, that's definitely another favorite part. Another one would definitely be with regards to the program with working with children. If you know me, you know that I absolutely love children, and I've worked with children in South Africa. Working with children here in the US is a completely different experience, right? And I think just knowing that you can impact their lives in so many ways, wow, it's really, it's a lot to take in, you know, like you have so much influence on these children. Okay, what do you miss most about South Africa? Oh my goodness, guys, I miss the food. I miss the culture. I miss the people. You know what? Yeah, I definitely miss those things. Okay, obviously, besides we're missing my family and friends and all of that, I definitely miss the food for sure. I don't even think it's about the South African food. It's about the flavor. That's what I miss. The flavor of the food. Because as I said, food here is different. It's just different, okay? Yeah, I think, you know what I miss also? I miss hearing people speak their own languages. Here in America, you just hear English. English, English, English. It's just like, what? You know, and especially in Rhode Island, I didn't find anyone that was from another country, like besides for au pairs, but everyone is just American. They just speak English, and wow, it takes a lot to get used to, especially coming from South Africa. A lot of different cultures, a lot of different languages, you know. I miss that. I miss that a lot. Yeah, I think overall, I just miss the vibes of South Africa, you know, the vibes. One thing about South Africans, wow. Yeah, wow. The next question is, how are the vibes in the USA? So this kind of relates to the previous question, but the vibes here are just different, you know. Like, you know, the people here, I feel like people here are very rushed. Very, very, very rushed. In South Africa, we are so relaxed. You know what I mean? Wow, one thing about South Africans, we don't care about anything. Here, everyone is in a rush to do everything. And one thing I've also noticed about Americans is they don't know how to relax. They don't know how to just do one thing for the day and then call it a day. No, if Americans have one thing to do on that day, no, they're going to make sure they have something else to do, and something else, and something else. They always just keep going, keep going, keep going. And I'm just like, I cannot keep up with this, you know. Do you prefer the USA or South Africa? So I do not prefer one over the other. I love South Africa, but I also love the US, right? I have one life in South Africa that I love, and I have another life here in the US that I also love. I feel like being in the USA, it definitely gives you a different level of appreciation for your home country, though. I definitely think my favorite experience is simply being here, you know, just going about my daily life, and then I remember, wow, I'm in the USA, you know. It's so overwhelming to think about that, you know. I think definitely my favorite experience has to be thinking about all the times that I've prayed for this, all the times that I've dreamt of being here, and then now I'm finally here. It's a lot to take in, you know, and it makes you feel like you want to do it all, you know. You want to go and achieve everything, right? It's amazing just living in answered prayers, and for that, I'll forever be grateful for that, for sure. The next question is, why the USA? So for me, I've always wanted to travel to the USA for as long as I can remember. Honestly speaking, it's always been a dream of mine to come here. But I feel like I wanted something more than just traveling here, than just seeing the place and then you must go back, you know. Because we obviously have always seen how Americans are in the movies and how the country looks like in the movies and whatever. So I wanted to see if that is how it actually is, you know. And I think there's no better way to really experience another culture than living with people of that culture. So yeah, I was like, this is a perfect opportunity because I love children. I want to travel to the USA. So why not combine the two and let's go ahead and do it. The next question is, do you feel safe there? And this is also the last question. So I honestly think that every single country is going to have its positives, but it's also going to have its negatives, right? You have to be careful everywhere you go. No matter which country, no matter how safe the country is said to be, you have to be careful. And I think especially being from South Africa, we already have this mindset of like, okay, we have to be careful. You have to make sure that you're not doing anything too crazy. You have to make sure that, you stay safe. You obviously don't want to come here and go to places that are not safe, right? But that goes without saying for everywhere that you go. It's not just about the US, because every country is going to be like this. You have to be careful everywhere. So, do I feel safe here? Yeah, I would say so. Anyways, guys, that brings us to the end of the questions, which brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that I answered all of your questions. And let me know if you would like to see more videos about my experience here. If you want to see more videos about the program, about traveling, culture shocks, all of that. Let me know, because I'm definitely down to do it for you guys. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a beautiful week ahead, and bye. Sending you all my love and light.